know how interesting this hybrid war thing is? Here we are, the whole world's Western press. I hope you took my phrase seriously. The whole world's Western press. The whole world's Western press is very concerned that Huawei is going to steal your privacy. Very concerned that your privacy is going to be stolen by Huawei and then eventually the Chinese government. Meanwhile, anybody's paying attention. And you didn't actually need Edward Snowden for this. You really didn't. But Snowden helped. I don't know if you read any of Snowden's stuff. Anyway, as they say in America, anywho, if you read Snowden, you'll know that the largest spy agency in the world is the NSA, the National Security Agency, which is, the Chinese government's spy agency. It's enormous. Chinese government have this thing called the NSA, which sits in, where does it sit? Shanghai, and they spy on the whole world. Well, obviously it's not a Chinese government agency and it's not in Shanghai. It's a bloody American outfit, the NSA. And we have, because of Edward Snowden, on record that Google, Microsoft, all deliver your information and my information directly to the NSA. They're already taking our information, but the world's Western press is aghast. It's aghast. It's truly aghast. It's taking the vapors, as they used to say in the 19th century. It's taking the vapors because they're fainting in fear of Huawei taking your information, which has been protected for you by Google and the NSA, because they're looking out for you. Google and the NSA are your defenders, your white knights. They are not imperialists. You know who's an imperialist? The Chinese government. That's what we mean by hybrid war. How easily they flip things around. And they make you afraid, oh my God, China is going to steal our secrets. And then you can just bomb China. The hybrid war, in other words, information warfare, sets the terms for the bombing run. The bombing run is secondary. It's the last thing. You don't need to do it. You just need to convince people that China is the greatest threat to the planet. Look at them. They'll steal your data. They will steal your data, which is protected for you. Don't look at Snowden. He's a traitor. Even when Google openly says, yes, we collaborate with the NSA, because they have gone on record saying, we deliver information to the NSA. You see, YouTube, for instance, owned by these great barons of commerce, when it's RT or CGTN, they write at the bottom of the video box, this is sponsored by the Russian. Warning, I don't know if this is warning. Warning, it's injurious to your health. It's sponsored by the Russian government. Warning, injurious to your health, sponsored by the Chinese government. I mean, shit. I mean, in fact, the great thing about America, MSNBC, the government doesn't need to sponsor us. We are State Department propaganda. We don't even need sponsorship. CNN, we don't need US government funding. We're such great patriots. Look at these foolish CGTN and RT. The only reason they spark propaganda is because they are paid by the government. American, the world's Western press, meanwhile, doesn't even need government support. They fall on the sword willingly. That's what Google does with the data. That's what Microsoft does with the data. They don't need even anybody to go and tell them, please give it to us. They give it away. They fall on their sword willingly. This is the hybrid war, guys. Suddenly you believe Rachel Maddow is one of the great journalists of our time. Rachel Maddow gets on TV and says the Russians are coming for you. When the Americans went for the Bolivians, where was Rachel Maddow? Stand on principle, sister. You're going after Russia for interfering in US elections. When the United States government does a coup in Bolivia or in Venezuela, where are you? Why don't you do one show? One show, just one, not even a show. Sorry, I don't know why I'm being so greedy and maybe even arrogant. Just do 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes. Just say a sentence. The United States government should not interfere in the elections in Venezuela, which will be held later this year. In the August 4th hearing in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee was about the forthcoming elections in Venezuela. Because the opposition says we will boycott the election. You'll boycott because you lose. Now, we know that with South America, it's largely the attack on resource socialism of one kind or the other. It was an attack on ALBA. on the attempt to create regional solidarity, to de-dollarize through the Sucre, the attempt to build a different foundation for South American inter-regional trade. And we can talk about this later. I think there's a lot there in ALBA that should be studied. You know, just because you're defeated doesn't mean you're wrong. I believe this with the socialist project in general. Just because the Soviet Union collapses doesn't mean communism is wrong. Defeat doesn't mean, a defeat is not a judgment on your accuracy, on whether you're right or not. Defeat is a judgment of strength. That's different. It's a totally different register. You can win and be wrong. We've seen that many times. The United States overthrew the government in Iraq. Was the United States right? Did that make the US correct? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Maybe you feel that. I don't. I wish there was another outcome for the Iraqis, still struggling.